Hola, in this video you're going to learn a little bit about direct objects and direct object pronouns. What are these? Let's see. So, a direct object is a thing of a person that receives the direct action of the verb. What does that mean? So, when you have a person, yo, I, you, nosotros, vosotros, so a person that does an action, I eat, I read, I buy something. Whatever that is right after the verb, I eat cookies. I read a book. I buy flowers. I buy anything. That thing, sometimes it can be a person, but most likely you'll find things here. That is the direct object. Yo como galletas. So yo como las galletas. This is galletas, cookies. Cookies is the direct object. So I read a book, el libro, will be the direct object. That's how you'll find it. But there's another way to find it. Let's see. Also, let's see this example. We have a person. Raúl kisses his wife. He kisses his wife. Raúl besa a su esposa. Be careful, in Spanish, there's something that is called personal a personal, personal a. That is this a that we find after a verb when the verb is followed by a person. I visit my grandma. Visito a mi abuela. Beso a mi novio. I kiss my boyfriend. I see the teacher. Yo veo a la profesora. You're gonna always have an a there before a person and after a verb. That's the personal a, personal a. Okay, so sometimes it could be a person too. I do something to this person. Okay, so yeah, I see her. I kiss her, things like that. Okay, when you have a person, it can also be a direct object. Now, let's see. How do we identify these direct objects? There are two words that you can say. You can ask the verb to identify them, to find them. So when you have a subject, again, I or you or he or she, and then that person is doing an action, then you can ask the verb what or whom. For instance, let's say that's going to be the direct object. You'll see. So, yo, I eat, yo como. What do I eat? I ask the verb what. What are you eating? What are you reading? What are you buying? Or if it's a person, whom are you visiting? I'm visiting my grandma. I am, what was the other example? Kissing my wife, my husband, whatever it is. So if it's a person, it will be whom are you doing this for? Or what are you doing? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you reading? What are you buying? What are you selling? What do you see? So that what is going to tell you what the direct object is. When you have a longer sentence, this is very useful. Yo como las galletas con leche y something else, something. It can be a really long sentence, but I eat, what do you eat? This. That's a direct object. I read a book in the library with my friend, blah, blah, blah. What do you read? A book. Okay, that's a direct object. So these will actually tell you where is the direct object. Then, now, okay, let's see. Let's go back 1 second. So, when we have this here, these direct objects, they can be replaced, and you'll see that this is the same in English. They can be replaced with direct object pronouns. A pronoun usually replaces something. So they can be replaced by direct object pronouns. Let's look at these pronouns. That's where I was. And then I'll kind of teach you how to match them, how to use them. When do we use them to replace what? You'll see. So these are the direct object pronouns. We have me. This is not pronounced me, but me. M-E is me. Then you have te. Then you'll have lo and la. And then you're going to have nos, os, los, and las. As you can see, if you've taken Spanish before, you will see that this kind of correspond to the subjects. It's going to go with the yo form. This is going to go with the you form. It's kind of like in 6 parts. This, and those. So let's see. First of all, and like I said, I'll match them later. But first of all, let me say that these, we're going to only use these when we're replacing people. Like, remember that sentence, Raúl kisses his wife. Well, it could be here. It could be. I'm not saying it's going to be one of these, but it could be. Because these, under the lo, la, and los, and las, they're used for people and things. So this one, it gets a little complicated, but don't worry too much. I'll give you some examples and you'll see. And there's another table like this at the end where you'll understand even better. So when remember, you found the direct object. I read a book. I visit my grandma. If it's a thing, the book, the flowers, I buy the flowers. I see the bird. Well, that will be an animal that sometimes it could be like people. But if it's a thing, remember that you're going to only replace that thing with either lo or la or los or las. If the thing is masculine and singular, I read the book. Yo leo el libro. You can replace el libro, since el libro is masculine and singular, you can replace it with this lo. Replace it with this lo. If it was I read the novel, la novela is feminine and singular, so you can replace it with la. La novela could be replaced with that one. If you are buying something plural and masculine, let's say tacos. I think that example is later in this PowerPoint. I buy tacos. Yo compro los tacos. Los tacos, you could replace it with this los. And if it's something feminine and plural, you can replace it with las. Okay? Let me show you some examples. Also, where you were saying, okay, you have to replace it, but where do we put that pronoun? Pablo mira la televisión. What is the direct object? He watches, what is he watching? TV. That's the direct object. If we want to, and that's a thing. So if it's a thing, remember, let's go back to the table. There's going to be either lo or la or los or las because it's a thing. So if it's a thing, it's feminine. Look at the article. It's telling you already. It's feminine and it's singular. La televisión. So if it's feminine and singular, you're going to be replacing it with la, L-A. And so where do we put it if we replace this whole thing? We're going to put that pronoun right before the verb. This is very important. Pablo mira la televisión is the same as Pablo la mira. And that will mean Pablo watches it. The it is the TV. Okay? As you say in Spanish, we put that it right before the verb. Okay. If there were, remember, imagine that there are 2 verbs in a sentence. I need to eat something, or I want to see whatever. I'm going to buy something. That something is a pronoun. But let's see. Pablo, someone, wants to watch TV. You have 2 verbs right here. He wants to watch something, the TV. That's the direct object. But we just said that we can replace the TV with a la, right? With the direct object pronoun. Then if you have 2 verbs like that, let's say that it was Pablo quiere mirar la televisión. When you replace the la televisión, when you use the pronoun can be either before, remember these 2 verbs, look at them, quiere mirar. You can put it either before the first verb, la quiere mirar, or attached to the second one, quiere mirarla. He It literally means Pablo wants to watch it, the TV, or Pablo wants to watch it, la. You can use one or the other. It doesn't matter, it's the same. There's no preference, whatever works for you. Just remember, if it goes attached, if it goes right after the second verb, it needs to be attached to the verb. It will be one word, mirarla, okay? The second verb that is in the infinitive is not conjugated. You will have the la right there, okay? You can use one way or the other. So now, why do we use these pronouns? There are these little words that take the place of the object. We already know that. So it's just so that the object is not repeated over and over. Imagine that you're saying, we do the same in English. Quiero comprar un libro. I want to buy a book. And then you say, wait a second, let's see. It says, I'm going to read the book and then I'm going to leave the book in my bookshelf. I want to read the book when you're done. And you keep saying, oh yeah, I really like the book, but the book is in my house and the book and the book. You don't want to be repeating this book again and again. So what we do in English and in Spanish is we use these pronouns to say, oh yeah, I bought it. It, meaning the book. I bought it the other day and it is in my house and I'm gonna go get it. It, everywhere is gonna be it. So in Spanish, we do the same. Lo voy a leer, I'm going to read it. It being the book. Remember that the lo is going to be the one that replaces something masculine and singular, like un libro. And then I'm going to leave it. Voy a dejarlo. And then in my house, I want to read it. When you're done, read it. This is two verbs again. Quiero leerlo. That's why it's attached. If you don't have two verbs, the lo, the pronoun, needs to always be in front of the verb. Okay? Be careful. But if you have two verbs, you can choose. Here you have two verbs. Voy a leer. It could be lo voy a leer or voy a leerlo. The lo attached to leer. Or voy a dejarlo. I'm going to leave it in my house. Voy a dejarlo or the lo. This is two verbs. I'm going to leave it. Or the lo could also be right before the voy. Lo voy a dejar. Okay? Bien, so next one, some examples, just the same thing. I eat the cookies. So remember, if the cookies are they what? Masculine, feminine? Is feminine, las, and plural. So what's the pronoun that we're using? Remember, it's going to be las. And I want to show you the table one more time again so that you know when to use them. So yeah, the third person will be using the las. One more example, Raúl kisses his wife. Is the same examples that we had at the beginning. So, él besa a su esposa. If it's su esposa, what pronoun do you think we're going to be using? We had me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, las. Those are the pronouns. I don't know, I should have probably put them here. But if it's his wife, it's not going to be me or te because that's to me or to you, but his wife is going to be la besa. And let me explain this again by showing you this the table one more time and showing you something else that I think is very important. When you have a sentence, again, this is the last slide. So when you have a sentence, I do something, I read the book. Remember, if it's things, you're going to replace that thing with either lo, if it's masculine, singular, or la, if it's feminine, los, or las. If it's a person, like the example right before, Raúl kisses his wife. If it's one person, it's going to be lo or la. Like I visit my grandma. My grandma is a female, so la. I visit my brother. Yo visito a mi hermano. Mi hermano will be replaced by lo. I see my friends. Yo veo a mis amigos. My friends will be replaced by los. And well, if it's I see my friends and my friends are all females, it could be replaced by las. When do we use these then? Well, if you see a sentence that says, ella visita or me visita a mí. She visits me. She visits me. A mí. If you see a sentence and you need to replace that a mí, that will be replaced with me. Now, if you see a ti, like I'm going to visit you or I see you, yo veo a ti, yo te veo. Yo veo a ti will be, a ti will be replaced by te. And if you see in a sentence, someone does something to us, she sees us, a nosotros, a vosotros will be os. Sorry, I don't know why I put that one there, but let me see. Oh, yeah, I meant to say a vosotros will be here, a vosotros, not there. That will be only a nosotros, a nosotros. A vosotros, it will be replaced by os. And then the ones on the bottom, like I was saying, if it's a thing, el libro, la pasta, pasta. A mi madre, if it's a person, it will be one of those, depending on if it's feminine or masculine. And if it's singular, it will be one of those. And if it's plural, just remember again, if it's female, las, it will be replaced with that las. Unos tacos, it's masculine, it will be replaced by los. A mis amigos, if it's masculine, it will be replaced by los. This is my little tricks here to understand this better. So just practice and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Adios.